You ever notice how every 4 years they put on this big traveling circus called a campaign? Oh yeah, they roll into town with their balloons, their slogans, their fake smiles, and their promises that are worth less than a politician's soul, which is already in the pawn shop. Campaign season is like buying the most expensive circus ticket in history. Except in this circus, you don't even get clowns juggling or lions jumping through hoops. No, you get politicians juggling lies and jumping through loopholes. And the best part, you paid for the ticket. Oh yeah, it's your tax money funding their confetti, their rallies, their commercials, and their endless speeches where they say absolutely nothing in 100 different ways. They call it a democracy, but it's really a giant magic show. They wave the flag in one hand, distract you with culture wars in the other, and poof, your money disappears into some lobbyist's back pocket. And they'll tell you, we're fighting for the people. But what they really mean is we're fighting for the people who bought our campaigns. That's right. Campaigns are nothing more than glorified auctions where billionaires and corporations bid on which clown gets to sit in the big chair. And the debates? Oh, please. They're not debates. They're rehearsed circus acts. I care about families. I care about jobs, about the American dream. You know what they really care about? Keeping their seat in the tent and making sure you keep buying tickets. So when you're watching campaign season unfold, just remember, you're not a voter, you're an audience member at the most expensive circus in the world. And like every circus, it's designed to distract you while someone else makes off with the money. Circus money campaigns are a circus. That's what they are. And you don't even get peanuts or popcorn. Just a whole lot of bullshit wrapped in red, white, and blue packaging. Every couple of years they roll out the big top, hang the flags, bring out the clowns, and call it democracy. And people, God bless them, still fall for it. They put on their little hats, wave their little signs, and act like they're part of something grand and noble, when really they're just sitting in the bleachers of a rigged carnival show. You're not participating, you're not deciding, you're just another ass in a seat watching the world's most expensive circus act play out with your money. Think about it. Campaign rallies look exactly like circus shows. Bright lights, loud music, confetti, balloons, people screaming and cheering like they've been hypnotized by the ringmaster. The candidates strut around the stage like they're taming lions. But the only thing they've ever tamed is their hair and their teleprompters. They wave their hands, make grand gestures, shout slogans like a hope, or a change, or make something great again. And the crowd roars as if someone actually said something meaningful. But no, what you're hearing is the same recycled garbage that's been passed off for decades, just dressed up in a new clown costume. And the clowns are the clowns. Oh, the clowns, the campaign trail is littered with them. One clown promises lower taxes, the other clown promises better schools. Another clown says he's going to clean up corruption, which is like a clown promising to mop the elephant pen. You can't clean it, that's the whole act. The circus depends on the elephants and the shit they leave behind. Otherwise, the show doesn't go on. The clowns don't solve the problem, they are the problem. And they keep tumbling out of the car year after year, election after election, and somehow people still clap. Look, another clown. Maybe this one's different. No, he's not different. He's just wearing a different colored nose. The campaign trail itself is a traveling circus. They drag their wagons full of lies from town to town, set up their stages, roll out the banners, and sell the same snake oil show over and over again. The ringmaster, some campaign manager in a fancy suit, tells the crowd to step right up. We've got the solution to all your problems. Just put your faith in this fine gentleman or this fine lady, and everything will be better. And the crowd buys it. They buy it every damn time. They don't even ask for refunds when the promises disappear. They just line up again for the next show. And let's talk about the tickets, because nothing in this circus is free. Oh no, you pay for this spectacle whether you want to or not. Your taxes pay for the security, the stages, the balloons, the parades. Your money funds the production, and then they have the nerve to come around with the hats, begging for more donations. Give us $5, give us $10, we're fighting for you. Fighting for me? You're fighting for your seat in the tent, pal. I'm just here to keep the lights on while you juggle your lies. And when the big donors step in, they don't just buy tickets, they buy the whole damn tent. They get their names in the program. front row seats and private access to the clowns backstage. You're in the cheap seats if you're even in the tent at all. The debates, oh boy, that's the high wire act. Everyone sits down and watches two trained performers pretend to spar. They've rehearsed every line, every facial expression, every fake laugh and fake outrage. Senator, how do you respond to your opponent's accusation? Well, I'll tell you, I love families, I love children, I love this country. And the crowd goes wild, like someone just did a triple flip on the tightrope. Nothing's being said, nothing's being decided, it's all an act. You know what the debates really are? The two clowns juggling insults while the ringmaster keeps the time. And afterward, the pundits tell you who won, like it's a wrestling match. You never notice that the referee, the judges, and the announcers are all on the same payroll as the wrestlers. And let's not forget the animals, because every circus needs animals. In this one, the animals are the voters. The herds of people herded into rallies, herded into voting booths, herded into believing they matter. They cheer when the ringmaster cracks the whip, they boo when he points at the other side, and they never realize they're the ones being paraded around for show. The animals never run the circus, they just march in circles, applauded for their obedience. And once the election's over, they get led back to the pen until the next show rolls into town. You see, the real trick of the campaign circus is distraction. They get you looking at the stunts, the fire eaters, the trapeze acts, and while you're gawking at the spectacle, they're picking your pocket up. You think you're choosing the next leader, but the leader's already chosen, the deal's already made, the donor's already paid. You're just there to clap at the right moments, laugh at the jokes, and boo at the villain. It's the same story every time. One clown in a red nose, one clown in a blue nose, both working for the guy who owns the tent. And when it's all over, when the last balloon pops and the last confetti falls, what do? You get nothing. You don't get better schools, you don't get lower taxes, you don't get peace or prosperity. What you get is the bill. The cleanup costs, the wear and tear on the country, and the same old clowns packing up to start again in 4 years. That's the beauty of the circus, there's always another show. Always another ticket to sell. Always another crowd willing to believe. So yeah, campaigns are a circus. A circus you don't get to walk away from. A circus that sets up in your town whether you want it or not. A circus where the only thing guaranteed is that you'll pay for the ticket, sit through the show, and come out just as empty as you went in. But hey, at least the clowns had a good time. J Money runs the show, folks. That's the only rule you need to know about politics. Forget your vote, forget your opinion, forget your cute little bumper sticker. None of that matters. The campaign is bought and paid for long before you ever show up at the booth. The circus doesn't run on ideals or integrity, it runs on cash, cold, hard cash, stuffed into the pockets of politicians like tips in a stripper's garter belt. And these guys, they dance just as shamelessly for whoever's paying. You think candidates are out there shaking hands, kissing babies, talking about your problems? No, they're on the phone with rich people all day, every day, begging for money. That's the whole job, dialing for dollars. They spend more time calling billionaires than they do calling their own mothers. Why? Because Mom doesn't own a pharmaceutical company or a defense contractor. Mom can't bankroll a $100 million TV blitz. So, Mom gets a Christmas card, the billionaire gets a private dinner. That's how it works, and you've seen those fundraisers. $10,000 a plate to sit in a fancy ballroom with a candidate who pretends to give a damn about you while you choke down cold chicken. And the people writing those checks aren't teachers. They're not bus drivers. They're not factory workers. No, they're CEOs, lobbyists, hedge fund managers, oil tycoons, and Wall Street crooks in $1,000 suits. These are the people who buy the tickets, own the tent, and tell the clowns what jokes to tell. They're not there for democracy. They're there for return on investment. They don't give a shit who wins as long as the winner remembers who paid for the balloons. You ever wonder why every campaign ad looks the same? The smiling families, the farmer in the field, the soldier hugging his kid. Because it's all bought with the same money from the same consultants working for the same people. You think you're choosing between two visions of America, but really you're choosing which brand of soda you want, Pepsi or Coke. Both full of sugar, both rotting your teeth, and both owned by the same shareholders. And while you're fighting with your neighbor about which one tastes better, the shareholders are laughing all the way to the bank. And let's not forget television, because campaigns are nothing but a giant advertising bonanza. Billions of dollars poured into commercials that say absolutely nothing. My opponent hates America, but I love America. I'll cut taxes, I'll raise jobs, I'll fight for you. Yeah, it's a marketing campaign for a product that doesn't exist. And who makes the real money? The TV networks. The same networks that cover the campaigns, analyze the campaigns, stir up drama about the campaigns, and then rake in cash from the ads. They're the concession stand at the Circus, selling you popcorn at $10 a bag while telling you it's the best show on earth. Now, here's the kicker. The politicians don't even try to hide it anymore. They openly admit that money is the key to everything. If you don't raise enough, you don't get taken seriously. They call it a viability. A candidate with no money is like a clown with no makeup. No one takes him seriously. No one puts him on stage. The press won't cover you, the parties won't support you, and the voters won't even hear your name. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't have a billionaire sugar daddy, you're not even in the tent. That's how democracy works, ladies and gentlemen. Pay to play! And the donors, they know the rules. They don't just give money out of the goodness of their hearts. They expect something back. Big tax breaks, juicy contracts, loopholes the size of the Grand Canyon. You think a defense contractor drops $50 million into a campaign because he loves America. No, he wants another war, another weapons deal, another blank check for the Pentagon. That's not patriotism, that's investment strategy. They fight over bathroom bills and pronouns and who's allowed to marry who, but when it comes to the important stuff, money, power, war, they're all on the same page. That's the part of the show they don't let you vote on. Boy, do they love to keep you busy with fake choices. Coke or Pepsi, football or baseball, Democrat or Republican. It's all designed to keep you arguing with your neighbor instead of noticing who owns the stadium. They love when you fight about culture wars, when you scream about who's more patriotic, who's ruining the country. Because while you're busy fighting each other, the same rich bastards are walking off with the loot. That's the real trick. Get the audience to fight in the stands so they don't notice the ringmaster robbing the concession stand. Every election season, they roll out new mascots. One guy in a cowboy hat, one lady with a folksy accent, one young guy who looks like your nephew. They all sell the same product, but they package it differently to make you think you've got a choice. This one's fresh, this one's different, this one's gonna shake things up. And then, surprise, they all govern the same way, by doing whatever the donors want. It's not about you, it's about them. And you keep falling for it because they're great at selling illusions. And the media is the magician's assistant in this trick. They fan out the cards. They tell you how exciting the race is. They show you polls and charts and maps. They talk about a battleground states like it's a war movie. But they never ask the real questions. They never pull back the curtain. They don't want you thinking about who owns the candidates. They want you thinking about who had a better zinger in the debate. They want you glued to the screen cheering for your team while the real game happens out of sight. Even when you try to step outside the illusion, they shut it down. You think a third party has a chance? Forget it. The system makes sure you can only choose between the two clowns they give you. Third parties don't get media coverage. They don't get debate access. They don't get on the ballot in half the states. They keep the tent locked tight. Because if people actually had a real choice, the circus might end. And they can't let that happen. Too much money at stake, too many careers built on the lie. And here's the cruelest part. They make you feel responsible. They guilt you into thinking your vote is life or death. This is the most important election of our lifetime. They say that every 4 years. The most important election ever until the next one. If it's always the most important, maybe none of them are. But they keep you coming back because they've convinced you that if you don't play along, you're the problem. You're un-American, you're lazy, you're cynical. No, you're not cynical, you're awake. You're the guy in the audience saying, hey, I can see the wires. And they don't like that. They want you dazzled, distracted, and dumb. You ever notice the promises always sound the same? Lower taxes, better schools, more jobs, stronger America. Doesn't matter who's saying it, they recycle the lines like bad stand-up comedians, and people clap. They actually clap, like they haven't heard the same routine for 50 years. That's how powerful the illusion is. People don't even realize they're watching reruns. They think it's live, they think it's new, they think their guy is different. But when the show's over, nothing changes. The curtain comes down, the money's collected, and the same crew packs up the tent. So the illusion of choice is what keeps this whole circus spinning. If people ever realize that the choices are fake, that the system is rigged, that the clowns work for the same boss, the show would collapse overnight. That's why they pump so much energy into the illusion. That's why they spend billions on ads, billions on campaigns, billions on media. It's not about convincing you to choose. It's about convincing you that your choice matters. And as long as you believe it, the circus stays in town, and the same rich bastards keep laughing behind the curtain. So there it is, folks. The campaign circus in all its glory. The clowns tumble out of their little cars. The ringmasters bark their empty slogans. The elephants shit all over the tent. And the audience cheers like it's the greatest show on earth. But it's not a show for you. It's a show about you. You're the mark. You're the sucker. You're the one buying the tickets and cleaning up after the animals. Money runs the tent, the donors own the clowns, and the only trick they really pull off is convincing you that your choice means something. Every 4 years they tell you it's new, it's historic, it's different this time. And every 4 years it's the same damn circus with the same damn owner. The only thing that changes is the clown makeup. And you keep showing up, hoping the next act will be better when deep down you know the whole thing is rigged. But that's the beauty of the illusion. As long as you think you're choosing, they can keep running the same con forever. So sit back, enjoy the lights, clap when they tell you, boo when they point, and don't forget to pay on your way out. Because in the end, campaigns aren't about democracy, they're about money, theater, and control. Campaigns are the most expensive circus tickets you'll ever buy, and the only show in town where the audience always loses and the clowns always win. Circus money.